here are the hits and misses from week 2. As always, we have our crow on deck, which we'll get to here in a second. I will do my best to not crunch on the crow in your ear if you're listening via podcast. But nonetheless, let's start with the hit, huh? Let's get the juices flowing with some good vibes. Y'all, we said Nico Iamaleava will go off. Did he throw 2 picks? Yeah. Are you worried about it after you blow the doors off NC State in Charlotte 51-10? No, not at all. Accounted for 3 touchdowns, and you could see, too, just the overall juice this guy has. Like, it feels like the Josh Heupel offense with the volume turned all the way up. And no shade on Joe Milton. I just think Nico Iamaleava, what he brings to the table from a mobility perspective, the quarterback runs you can call with him, ripping off a 30-plus yard touchdown in this game on the ground. Like, he's different. Tennessee's different. He showed it against NC State, and that was a hit for us as we called our shot there. Now, I think we have probably a good amount of Gamecocks watching the show right now with y'all's big game against LSU. If you watched the show this time last week, we incorrectly predicted your Gamecocks to lose to Kentucky. I said, hey, man, I don't know. They kind of struggled with Old Dominion. Kentucky's got Brock Vandagriff. That spread's just touching double digits right now. Like, I don't know if I like them going to Lexington. And then all South Carolina did was go and lay it on Kentucky. 2 interceptions. I mean, defense played lights out, only allowed 6 points. We're all questioning our Brock Vandagriff takes from the offseason. At least I am. So, hey, South Carolina fans, I tweeted it mid-game. Here is your crow. I'm having some now. I was way off on South Carolina. If you're listening on podcast, I apologize for the feedback and for my bag of crow crinkling in your ear, but it is so crow right here for South Carolina. All right. Tell you what, man, for crow, don't knock until you try it. Not bad when you get jalapeno flavored crow. So let's go to a hit here. We said Texas would be able. Chewing my crow. Okay. We said Texas through the air would have the matchups they wanted against Michigan. We said, hey, Michigan, they're good in the secondary. Don't get it twisted. Will Johnson might be the best corner in college football. But here's the deal. We saw Fresno State with a lesser caliber of quarterback and wide receiver play have a few shots that, one, they hit on, a couple they missed on. Texas had their way through the air. It was very telling, too, the way that Steve Sarkisian opened that game. I fully anticipate Texas to run the football, be the RPO team that they are, kind of set the tone in the trenches, and then try to throw. They said, forget all that. We're going right after you. Like, they liked their matchups on the perimeter. And Quinn Ewers liked his day that he had throwing the ball to the perimeter. Had 246 yards through the air, 3 touchdowns. Gunnar Helm, not so much on the perimeter, but the tight end for them, he had a big day. Texas, we called it. We knew they would. They eventually ran the football well. More on Texas later in the show. But Texas, they had their matchups. They liked their matchups. They won their matchups on the perimeter. That was a hit for us here. Another miss. Y'all, this is embarrassing. This is very embarrassing. We did the unforgivable. We did. We made a definitive statement, too definitive of a statement, in week 1. I told you, I was like, hey, man, Notre Dame, like, I've seen enough. They bullied Texas A&M in College Station. That defense just bowed up, flexed a little bit, Marcus Freeman style, and they're going to be a problem. To me, I was like, okay, cool. They're a college football playoff team. Now, wouldn't you know it, Northern Illinois rolls into South Bend, knocks them down. So I think Notre Dame still, to be clear, could be a college football playoff team. We have had our reservations around the consistency of Riley Leonard. That showed itself in this game. He threw 2 picks. Again, that's on us. We broke the Cardinal rule. We overreacted to week 1. While we told everybody else, hey, don't overreact. It's just 1 week. And then we're like, Notre Dame, they're a playoff team. So for us, Notre Dame, the rest of college football, that's Crow. Moving right along here. But, man, I'm telling you, I'm not selling my Notre Dame stock just yet. Did it look bad? Of course. Looked awful. I don't think that you're totally out of Notre Dame just yet, but it's not a done deal. They're a playoff team. Here's a hit now. Nebraska, we said they'd beat Colorado. We said they'd win the line of scrimmage. They did that emphatically. We also said Dylan Raiola is the difference if you're a Nebraska fan. Because for a long time you've been like, man, if we could just get a quarterback that doesn't give the ball to the other team, we'd be all right. We'd have a chance to win some ball games now. Probably felt that way last year in Boulder because you ran for over 200 yards and the score wasn't even close. Why? Because you turned the ball over 4 times. You know, it is what it is when you don't play well at the quarterback position. When you're not efficient at the quarterback position, you run into issues. Nebraska, I know he's a true freshman, I'm going to do my best to not overreact here, but like they got a guy playing quarterback for them now. They do. You saw it. I saw it. They dominated the interior. They had a quarterback that could capitalize on them dominating in the interior of the line of scrimmage. For Colorado, too, this is kind of a 2-for-1. They look like the same team to me. And now, are they improved in certain areas? Like, I think they're probably a little bit better rushing the passer. Yeah. But, like, they're the same kind of team in the sense that they struggle to stop the run. They struggle to run the football. If Shedeur and that wide receiver core is not able to really get rolling, like, they're going to get waxed. So I think Colorado still could be a bowl game kind of team just because I think Shedeur Sanders is that good and their wide receiver core is that good. Got my own thoughts on how Colorado handled themselves, after the game, but neither here nor there. All that's to say, Nebraska won that game, bullied Colorado in that game, and I don't even think the box score shows it quite as much. Now, here's our last miss. Not our last miss, but our last miss of week 2 that we're going to talk about here. This honestly, we're doing this because one of y'all Venmo requested me for my take on App State against Clemson. Because we do our Against the Suits every single week on my Instagram page. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, would encourage you to follow me there. Essentially, it's me telling you, hey, here's the bets that I like for this week. Here's where we're putting our metaphorical money. Like, if you want to tail, tail. If you want to fade, fade. Great. We say that every single time. Fade or follow. I had one of y'all Venmo request me for me telling you App State plus 17 was a good way to go. So we missed on that. I will not be accepting your Venmo request. However, I do appreciate the thought. I appreciate the passion. And instead, I will be giving you some crow, or I'll be taking myself some crow for that 66-20 just beatdown that happened in Death Valley, courtesy of the Clemson Tigers. So hand up, that's on me. Some crow for me. But nonetheless, move right along. And that's our crow for this week. Hey y'all, thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.